So we'll talk about that on the not game section. But for the game section, we are continuing our video game time capsule, which
part 2.
Yes, part 2 of hopefully only like 4 or something. I don't know. We'll see. But the idea here, and I had to go back and re-listen to your exact wording, is we are creating a gaming time capsule to represent console gaming from the big 3, aka Nintendo, PlayStation, Xbox. What this means is we're kind of, looking at games that we have loved and also respected over the years, and kind of picking one representative but when all the games hold hands, they make console gaming. That's the idea. Definitely a lot of challenges in building that. So far, we've done the NES, the SNES, and the Game Boy. For the NES, we picked Tetris. SNES, we picked Super Mario World. And for the Game Boy, we picked Pokemon Yellow. We might do a double check at the end on everything, but those are soft locked in. And now we're going on to the N64 PlayStation is what we have up next. So
Xbox. You keep forgetting Xbox.
Oh, is the Xbox right there with it at the same time? Yeah.
Sorry. No. Yeah. Oh, sorry. That generation, you're right.
Yes. Okay. So I was like, wait, and then I was re-looking at that. So we have N64 PlayStation. After that, we're gonna do GameCube, GBA, PS2, Xbox. So starting with the N64, Isaiah. I feel like you're an N64 hater. What did you even write down on this?
What do you mean? No, not at all. I did somewhat struggle to find 3 that I could really get behind. Easily 2. First one, GoldenEye 007.
Oh.
When I think about like playing games with friends, GoldenEye is probably one of the earlier memories of like having some friends come over. We all plug in these like stupid Trident looking controllers and we just have a grand time. Just a blast.
I had no idea you were a GoldenEye boy.
Yeah. Golden gun or slappers only. You got a couple different things you can do there.
You know that playing regular games with me, like board games and stuff, I often accuse you of cheating. You don't actually cheat, except for card peeking. You do card peek. Were you a screen?
It's not card peeking if you are showing me your hand. No.
Really? I figured you'd be like, oh, you're showing me your corner of the screen.
I mean,
so.
I don't know. Do I see that they're outside?
All right, so this man was cheating.
Yeah, it's not cheating. It's not cheating. If I'm trying to look at my screen. Look, TVs were like 16 inches back then. I can only look away from your
Don't play
corner.
GoldenEye with Isaiah. That's all I know from this.
So hard.
What? The corner's right next to my corner.
Yeah.
I never played GoldenEye as a kid. I played it, I think, a little bit as an adult, like when it came to Switch Online. I think it's on there.
Okay.
But you know me, I'm not a shooter boy, so
yeah, that's fair.
I'm like, is this good? I don't even think I'd know. And also, all right. I mean, moment in time, I guess.
It was fun. The campaign was actually solid. It was fun. I never like got too deep because I was a dumb kid, and at a certain point, I just would get lost or wasn't sure what to do. So it evolved very quickly, back to being a multiplayer thing.
It's good that we have GoldenEye representation though on the podcast. It wasn't gonna come from me. This is the farthest game in my mind. Okay, N64. I'm going the classic, the iconic, of course. Super Mario 64.
Yep.
Let's go.
I was sure you were gonna.
Let's go.
I was sure you were gonna bring that up. It's a good game. It's a good game. I don't think it's the masterpiece.
Is it your GoldenEye?
I don't think it's any longer the masterpiece. I think when it came out, yeah, it probably was like, holy crap, how games can't get any better. But now I've played so many other new games. No, I will say that does hit. And also, this time capsule is about representation. So you are absolutely right in putting it in there.
Okay. I won't talk too long on this one, but I feel like we, oddly enough, probably already talked about it, right? Because we've been talking about a lot of the Marios, just kind of lumping them together. Yeah, this is like the pinnacle of 3D platforming in the genre. And
before the
Switch
Switch
came out, and stuff. Yeah, and I like Odyssey too. But here's the thing: like Odyssey exists on the back of Mario 64, and pretty much every 3D platformer exists on the back of Mario 64. It is like a core game. I don't know if there's that many. I mean, I'm sure you can like point to other quintessential games in other genres, like the iconic shooter. A lot of people look to GoldenEye for that multiplayer stuff like that. It is one of those. It is the station seed that made 3D platforming what it was. And even though, yes, you play it today, especially if you've never played it before, you're going to be like, it feels kind of funny. The camera is out to get me, right? Like you will feel those things in this game, and I'm not going to pretend that you don't. But the design ethos of Super Mario 64 is brilliant. It is creative. It is interesting. It is filled with secrets and intrigue. And they really made like, I feel like in so many other games, there's like, oh yeah, there's a hub world and then there's levels. They're like, what if the hub world, emphasis on world, like this is an environment in itself worthy of exploration and admiration. And yeah, it's just so fantastic. Run down that hallway before you get to start. There's so many detailed, smart, innovative, cool things. People are still chasing that high. You know, I was looking at the, I'm watching that long ass Psych Odyssey documentary. And what were they thinking of when they were designing it? They're like, I want to make Wet Dry Worlds from Mario 64. Now, I don't know if that ends up working out for them because they're kind of like, we never thought to ask, like, is this going to be actually like fun to play? Because Raz can't swim. So it's like, well, what are we doing with this is our fake Wet Dry World? I don't know how it turns out. And I never played the Psychonauts games. But why were they having those conversations? Because when you think 3D platformers, you are thinking Super Mario 64. Even if you're too dumb to actually think of Super Mario 64, it's in there. And it's awesome. And if you remade that game and just fix those little things of like, oh, the camera's funky and all that, you would make the greatest game of all time.
Yeah, remake 64 in the Odyssey engine, hands down, Nintendo.
Yeah, like
prints money.
It's such a fantastic game. So there we go. Mario 64. That's my pick.
My next N64 pick is another great time with friends. Okay. We got Super Smash Bros.
Oh,
the classic. Okay. The OG, the original. Fun time. You got Mario, you got Pikachu, you got Donkey Kong, you got, all the friends coming together, fighting, slashing, punching, kicking. It's a good time. The iconic worlds introduced and music and characters and everything. It was great. I guess you didn't like it, but I thought it was...
I didn't really play it, to be honest.
Oh, okay.
Maybe I'm sure I had it at one point and we rented it at least or something, but like when I think Smash, I feel like we got a later spot for where Smash Bros.
That's fair. It's a good argument.
But yes, this was its kind of the first are always a big deal. My other one, I'm gonna go Pokemon Stadium 2.
Wow, all right.
Which maybe I should just go Pokemon Stadium 1. I kind of put 2 in parentheses. I could take 1 or 2.
Yeah,
it doesn't really matter.
I have a couple like that.
I believe 2 is technically better, but 1 is the one that I feel like I played more.
Yeah.
I'm still playing that Kids Club today.
Kids Club
it is so fun. Shout out to a game that's in the main game is also like really incredible and just a cool, really different way of fighting. I feel like Pokemon Stadium is what the gym battles are supposed to feel like, but they don't. They don't. Yeah. Like it was so exciting. I think too, like the magic of being visually overwhelmed by really seeing like if memory serves correct, I feel like it's kind of the first time I really saw this. Really seeing a Pokemon's move in a video game, because before it's kind of just like sprite animation work and it's like they throw a couple like electricity bolts or whatever. This like when you do like surf in this game and the whole arena gets flooded with water, it is so cool.
It hit.
Yeah, it really is just like a colossal kind of vibe. And then the Kids Club, which is just a side thing.
Oh, it's so good.
Some of the best mini games ever made.
And on top of that, if you got the little attachment, you could play your game, but you could play your Pokemon Yellow on the big screen.
Yeah.
With Stadium, which we know Pokemon Yellow was our choice for the Game Boy. Yeah, no, I didn't even write that down, and that is honestly a big miss for me. So I like that. My last option, which I was pretty sour on this game for a while, but then I recently, like within the last like 2 weeks since the last episode, I picked it up a little bit.
Oh, okay.
Started playing a little bit. Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time.
Oh.
I picked it up again. I'm trying it again, and now that I've matured.
Yeah.
I think I'm enjoying it more. I want to see more of it. Now, I'm not saying this necessarily should be our pick, but I do think I understand now, just from the bit I've played, why it at least should be nominated. Throw the name in the hat.
I'm glad that you have that on here because I had it like as a thought, but I really didn't. I didn't play these games on the N64, which I think ports can count for these conversations.
I hope
whatever.
So.
Yeah, you're playing it on like different ways.
Yeah,
yeah, everyone means. But I did dabble a little bit in Ocarina of Time. Same deal. I'm just kind of like, I don't know. And the Majora's Mask as well. And I do feel like those are iconic, big deal, well-designed Zelda games. It's just like, The thing about Zelda is back in the day, you really did have to be a little smart, and I'm like, I don't want to be. I don't
No,
want to
that's
be.
fair.
I don't want to be. Yeah, I don't know. But they're obviously really cool games, so I'm glad that we can get someone to speak on that. I guess my last pick then would be, I'm just gonna go, platformer down. We're going Banjo-Kazooie.
Okay.
You know?
All right.
You're going around. It's another great 3D platformer. I think sometimes it's obviously easy to get overshadowed by like Mario 64 is better than Banjo-Kazooie. But Banjo-Kazooie represents the fact that like you can make a good 3D platformer that isn't a Mario game. I feel like we have that conversation a lot in the modern era. Specifically with Astro, people being like, "Oh my god, another good one who isn't Mario." We've basically been seeking someone that isn't Mario for a long time, and every now and then someone steps up to the plate. Someone steps up to the plate a little bit. And Banjo-Kazooie, really innovative, fun world. I think it had a lot of like. I talk a lot about how important it is to have cohesive world in a platformer. I think Banjo-Kazooie really like nails that, where it's like it's its own vibe, its own thing. You got like the magic of the little like it's got incredible music as well. The magic of the little music note and the puzzle pieces and all that. I
never played Banjo-Kazooie. So,
really?
Yeah.
You should play it. I mean,
I have to take your word for
it. It is still like older, but I don't think it. In a way, it doesn't really like suffer from the same things that Mario 64 suffers from, because I feel like the camera was maybe a little bit better, but yeah, it's like a cool game that you definitely should play if you haven't already.
I'm sure we have the means.
Anything is possible if you abandon, the law. Then you can get a lot of things done. So those are our 3 picks. What are you drawn to? Because we can only choose one.
So my just immediate thoughts are, GoldenEye is more that party vibe, which I do think we get elsewhere. We'll get elsewhere to date even. So I'm fine with that, being a little bit lower. Smash Bros also really good, and there's a high likely chance it'll come back later, but it does have a little bit more competition later too. So it's like kind of push pull. I mean, as much as I hate it, I guess I gotta go Mario 64.
Really?
Yeah.
How far into Ocarina of Time are you? Because I'm drawn to Ocarina and Mario 64.
My thing is, I think we get, personally, better Ocarina of Time later and better Mario later. And so it's like, but those also come with steeper competition on those platforms as well. So it's like, I think either of these are a win for here, and then that eases up even the burden later on like later platforms.
I don't know. We're not gonna get so much like good Zelda early again later. That's gonna like make it through. Maybe we just go with Zelda now. Though I love Mario 64, so
you don't think Zelda might not come back?
I think it might be a minute. I'm looking down this list. I don't know. We can play, if we can play Zelda on the PS2, sure, maybe, but we can't.
We got GameCube going up.
We do.
I don't know if there was a Zelda on the Wii U. I didn't have the Wii U, so who knows what for part 3 or whatever. But Breath
of the Wild, the Zelda on the Wii U.
That is technically on the Wii U. Oh,
though I feel like that's a troll pick to say, "Oh, I'm picking Breath of the Wild."
Hey man,
like shut up. Don't do that.
We'll talk about this.
We're not that kind of podcast. I refuse. I will walk away from the show. Yeah, I do feel like we have to. Like I was telling you off air that I feel like we should go back and put Yoshi's Island on the SNES because we have too much Mario representing console gaming. Though he's a big part of it, so maybe it's like, hey, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
So we're going Mario 64 then, since you don't want to put Ocarina of Time up there. I think those are the two
I would say
smash hits.
For today's episode, let's soft lock it in. And then,
Mario 64?
Yeah. And then at the end of the episode, we'll do one more go through, make sure that there's no outliers or anything missing,
All right, Super Mario. I mean, it has 64 in the name.
It does have 64 in the name.
It has the console's name in the name.
Pretty true.
So
I'll give you that.
I feel like that's pretty good. Okay. Moving on. What's up?
That's it. Next up,
we got PlayStation.
Oh, man. This is tough.
Never had a PlayStation. Oh. See, I've had all the PlayStation consoles. I've never had a PlayStation 1. So yeah, this one was weird. I don't even know what I put down here. I put down I'll go first, I guess. I was putting down random stuff over here.
Right.
Now, obviously, ports go a long way for things. Sure. So all my stuff is actually stuff I've played on other platforms.
Which is fine.
And this is tough because I can't even speak too specifically to it because it's been so long since I played it.
That is true. A lot of these games.
Castlevania Symphony of the Night.
That is one of the blind spots I have. I never played it, but I heard. I mean, you hear nothing but great things about it.
Castlevania bangs. I do wonder if you'd be like, "F this, man. This sucks." Because a lot of Castlevania, it's like go up the stair and then you whip it and then you whip it and then you go. But like, they're awesome games. I need to go back and replay some of these because Castlevania was like so. I played these on the GBA. And maybe I did play Aria, spoilers for GBA talk. Maybe I did play Aria of Sorrow also, which is another GBA one that's kind of the hit. Like a lot of people rank that highest for like Castlevania stuff, but like whatever. Symphony of the Night's the only one I can like, I know and I remember the name of and being like, yeah, like Symphony of the Night. Like it was so good. But yeah, I mean, hey, if you like Metroidvanias, that's part of the. I mean, yeah. This is what gave you the Vania. So, which is the best part of Metroidvania, saying Vania, I think.
It is true. It is the most fun.
But yeah, they're just great games. So I have that for my PlayStation, even though I didn't own the PlayStation during its time, so I didn't really play on that hardware. But what do you got? You're a big PlayStation boy.
Yeah. PlayStation is really where things started to fucking get in their bag for me. I got it. Kind of go number one, Metal Gear Solid.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it launched a series. Well, not even launched because. You know, there were Metal Gear games before, but I feel like Solid is really where it like reinvented itself.
Yeah.
It refound its identity.
Kind of vibe.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what? We're still playing. I'm waiting for a Metal Gear Solid game later this year. Like, you know, it's still around, still here. Playing a snake, doing a little espionage adventure and everything. It's a good time.
Sure, yeah. RE2.
Okay.
Now it's kind of a weird situation because the remake is so much like better.
But
RE2 is still like quintessentially like RE2 remake only exists because RE2 existed. So like I'm kind of retroactively like a tip of the hat to RE2.
I wasn't sure how we would want to handle like remakes and reimaginings and everything like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that is a good one. That is a good one.
I mean, it's just like I feel like Perfect's a little dramatic, but it is kind of like the perfect survival horror game. I think it's got like the greatest blend of just a smidge of action, a lot of really great puzzles, a really cool environment. The play as Leon and Claire really having like it's the same, but it is different. Where it is where like I remember when I first not learned about it, but like really, you know, with the conversation of the remake, I'm like, oh, well, do you have to really replay this? They're like, oh no, like you should because it's like the true way to fully play it. And I'm like, is it, or you just like kind of be an extra? And then having done it, I'm like, wow, this is like I almost feel like they shouldn't even let you walk away from the game until you've like done those 2 runs because it's like just so
we actually hide the credits.
Just so barely it's just like so barely different, but in a way that's like really important, and it's just like it's so good. But yeah, the remake is like obviously that's the only kind of way I'd recommend people play it at this point. But it's like, again, the remake wouldn't exist without the original, so that this is my nod to the original, even though, you know, maybe I dabbled slightly in some port before the remake came out, but like barely.
For me, my next one, and this is another one of those like there's different options, pick any of them and I'd probably be happy with it. The Tony Hawk Pro Skater.
I had that on there
personally too. 3 was the one I probably spent the most time with and like remember most fondly, but I know that 2 is also like a banger, and like when you look up lists, a lot of people actually have 2 probably higher. But for me, I go 3. For us, down for whatever.
I also had 2 on there, though. Fun fact, I feel like I played this in the GBA, and it's actually like way different, kind of. So I'm like, did I even
isometric, right?
Yeah. So I'm like, did I even really play Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2? Like I know I've played since, and they've also remade this as well. So
I don't think we'll have time to get into this episode, but I feel like you've played a lot of these like core games on handhelds, which are like lesser versions of like their console, their TV console
but there was
counterparts.
There was an era where they were literally lesser versions. Sometimes they weren't, and they were just like literal ports. But sometimes they were like different. There was the era where they were different, and yeah, Tony Hawk was different. Corely different on the GBA.
It had the same energy, the same spirit,
and it was awesome, and I loved it. It's an incredible game, but I remember playing it was one of those things where I'm like, I played the They kind of did like a remake of it like recently, and I played that.
1 and 2.
And I'm like, this is like really hard to play. I don't remember this being this hard. And it's because like the GBA one is like much more like simplified. Like even more arcadey. So I'm like, do I even like Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2? It's like kind of like an existential crisis about it. But yeah, not to that. And then again, we shared that. So what's your last one?
Last one, I'm gonna go Tekken. I spent a lot of time with Tekken 2, but again, 1, 2, 3. I think we're all on the PS1. Happy to go any of those or all, however you want to slice and dice it for consideration. But yeah, no, Tekken was like a fun time, man. It was like some of my early memories is like coming home from school and like booting it up and just like wailing on people. You know what I mean? Like wailing on my friends and everything like that. So good time.
Where do you lean on for this?
I mean, selfishly, Metal Gear Solid, I think, is like really the standout game from not just this platform in general, this generation. Like it's,
I guess so, but
so stupid.
We are going to just get to talk about Metal Gear Solid again.
That is like true, but like again,
and MGS2, I think is like way better than Metal Gear Solid. Probably.
I mean,
also, I probably barely played Metal Gear Solid.
I think MGS3 is better than MGS2. And so
I think that I could live with that. I disagree, but also it's been a long time since I replayed them, so maybe I would agree if I had read them back again. But either way, that's a different time. So
it's true.
I don't know.
I also think that you bringing up MGS2 and ME3, and it's like, again, that's the next generation. So much deeper competition. I'd rather leave room for other things to hopefully surface once we get to PS2, Xbox, GameCube.
I guess, did you play old Resident Evil at the time?
I did not.
Okay.
No. It was the spooky. I didn't like the spookies. There was like, I think it was 1. Yeah, because I think 1 is where you go into like the mansion. You go into like a hallway and there's like these 3 zombie dogs in there. And
one is really scary to me.
This franchise.
We should play it sometime because it's like a pain in the ass to play. Because it just doesn't feel that good in the modern era, and also it's like probably way less scary now that it's like little sprites and stuff.
One thing I will say going into this that I'm hoping for is also us choosing games that do age the most gracefully. And I feel like Metal Gear Solid, ages pretty well. Like if I had to boot it up today and we played it, I think we'd have a pretty good time mechanically. I don't know if I could say the same
with RE2.
For RE2 with the tank controls and everything. It's like I'd probably get used to. I'd be able to get used to it for sure. But I think it would be.
Was it still tanked at the time? Maybe it was. Honestly, even if it wasn't, it still doesn't feel that good. Because I remember them. That's why they keep remaking 1.
Yeah.
And I remember like every day I'm like, make it again, because like it's the only game where it's like it has like a million remakes. I'm like, you got to make it again because it's still it ages really quickly. Okay, let's go Metal Gear Solid 2 then. Metal Gear Solid, I mean. So it's just so I'm like, why am I stopping at Solid? Ugh, okay. Pretty nice pairing. Metal Gear Solid and N64. Sorry, Super Mario 64.
Super Mario 64 on the N64 and Metal Gear Solid on the PlayStation. I feel like that's like an era-defining pairing right there.
Yeah. All right. Next up, we got the GameCube. You want to start off with what do you got for the GameCube? Well, what's your history with the GameCube, really quick?
I had a GameCube, but to be honest, I still did most of my gaming on PS2 by this point.
Okay.
I did play, some games on GameCube for sure. To be honest, the games I played then are not actually on this list much.
Sure.
But still, give some shout outs where applicable.
What do you got?
For me, it is a toss up between these two. So I'll just pick this one first. Legend of Zelda Wind Waker.
Yep.
I didn't play this on the GameCube, but it is a GameCube game. I think we already said that, like, remakes, remasters, all kind of like.
Did you play this through Mysterious Means, or I forget if you played it on the Wii U?
Oh, I think I played it on the Wii U. Yeah, I played it on the Wii U.
Yeah.
The Wind Waker HD.
Yeah.
It was a good ass game.
It's an incredible game.
So good.
Love this game.
Such a good time.
Yeah.
Remake it again. Screw it.
Yeah, I mean, I would love, and people would go wild for like Switch 2. We've been wanting a port of that HD version on the Wii U. That is the best way to play it. But I also think the way they're not drastically different. The Wii U basically just makes one of the missions like less hellish, and also it does have the niceties of the gamepad. I think it does function really nicely with the map.
Yeah, that's true.
People are quick to hit on the Wii U, but it was fun to have that second screen to aid you. What if another screen near you aided you in the game instead of just having you scroll on your phone? That was the time. That was the time to be alive. But yeah, I have that one on there too. My other one is of course Super Smash Bros. Melee.
That was my
This
second one.
is this. This is my pick. I feel like I don't even need. You don't gotta give me 3. I only need the 1. This is in my opinion, this is like the greatest fighting game of all time. I think that this game is incredible. Not only is it the classic Smash Bros. Thing of it's fun casually, it's also really great competitively.
Yeah,
it is.
Talk about games that still hold up now.
People are still playing this game today, and I knew when I was a kid somehow. I don't know, because I wasn't even like, I wasn't born a game critic. I was just playing video games. But when we got Smash Bros. Melee, I knew that this was something special. Mario Party 4, people don't talk about it as much as they did with Smash, but those are my 2. But I was locked in on this game. I think it is so incredible. Every stage, even the stages that suck, are kind of fun in their own way.
Yeah.
It's like, we all know Pokeflows is kind of BS, but like it's kind of fun just to like feel wacky. I think the only one I really hate is like the Ice Climbers one that like auto goes up. It's like, I don't know, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
And then it's just a game of who dies. But I don't know, it's its own thing.
Yeah. Who can platform better,
I think it's the Smash Bros. Melee, I also think is kind of the perfect mix of being additive without being overwhelming. I do think in the modern era, Smash Bros. Ultimate, it's cool. It's a great game as well. Lots of characters, blah, 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 blee, blee, blee. Sure. But it's kind of got so much that it's like a little, it's almost like it's like, okay, our thing is we're everything. And I'm like, okay. I mean, that's cool. But I think Smash Bros. Melee has like the best feel as well for how the characters control. Obviously the wave dashing thing is cool. Never learned how to do it. Still had a lot of fun. But yeah, if I could only play one, basically, I don't even need to only play one Smash Bros. Game for the rest of my life, and I still choose to do. I opted into this myself.
I was gonna say, yeah, you still only play one.
Yeah, it is. I think it's the best one, and I don't think there'll ever be one better. That they nailed it. It is.
I mean, Ultimate is.
It is genuinely, easily one of the greatest games of all time. Smash Bros. Melee, like.
It is up there.
Yeah,
it is up there. Again, I think. Especially by this point, yeah, easily. Like this platform, it is probably the game that we'll go with, right? I'm willing to kind of like soft lock, like preload it in, right? I do have one more I want to give a shout out. This generation was the launch of Resident Evil 4. Now, I didn't play Resident Evil 4, kind of like you with the Resident Evil 2. I didn't play it on GameCube or in this generation. I played their like most recent remake, but I mean, if this is where it's coming from, I want to at least give it a shout out because that game is fucking amazing, incredible. There's no word to express how good of a time I had playing that game. So if little kid me had gotten over my fear and played Resident Evil 4 when it came out, I'd be a different man.
Yeah, for sure. And I think my last one, because I also shared Wind Waker with you. My last one, this is tough because I feel like you're probably just gonna have it on like PS2 or something, just on their platform. But the NBA Street games, I did play those on GameCube. My go-to one was the first one, even though I do think, what did we decide? The second one is
I think the second
better.
one is the best.
The second one's the best one. The third one gets kind of weird. Home court, low-key.
Third one has a Mario Luigi
Yeah,
Peach.
we're definitely going to buy that at some point on the GameCube. Once I rebuy my own GameCube, because whatever. We're missing a lot of things. It's fine. But yeah, I played those a lot. And then tip of the hat, Mario Sunshine. I do love that game. It is a messy ass Mario game, but like,
yes, it is.
I think it falls into that. There's like a certain kind of game where it's like, it's almost fun that it's a little bit bad. It's like there's so much, there's so much good design. The implementation, it does feel like a different team kind of was like, how do you make a Mario game? How does he feel? I think this is kind of close. Who's gonna notice really? But yeah, very, very creative, super different, really taking a swing, and also just like number one for vibes. The GameCube was such a vibe console.
That is true. I'll give you that.
And I think it's why the GameCube remains like one of my favorite consoles of all time. The fact that it's a little cube, got the little handle, and it had so many like experimental funky things. Like Mario had a jetpack. Link looked all freaking weird. Like people were just out here. Luigi was like looking for Mario. That was the launch game of the console. Like,
I'm surprised you didn't mention that.
It's a really great
different
game
than everything else,
but it just isn't as good. As like if I can only name three, which I already cheated by giving a little tip of that to Mario Sunshine. I love Luigi's Mansion as well. And it's, even though I do think Luigi's Mansion 3, the one that just came out on Switch, is the best one of the three games, I do think there's something very fun and nostalgic about the first one. And they're also, the difference in quality is not that big.
Sure.
Like, if someone wants to get in Luigi's Mansion at the jump, I just would say just go to 3 because it's like the best one, best feeling one, easiest to control, blah, blah, blah. But like,
if you want more,
but if you go back and play 1, you definitely will feel the difference, but you're not going to be like, oh, this is like night and day. It's like day and later that day. You know, it's like you're kind of fine.
Day and dusk. You know what
and especially because
like,
I forgot they dropped like a port of it. It's not like a full remake, I don't think, of Luigi's Mansion 1, but they have that on.
Is it the Nintendo Online?
No, they. I'll Google around for it in between us talking. But there was like another way to play it. I remember recently where it's like, oh, do people want to do this? And like, Nintendo's always doing these random ports of like games no one's really asking about. Like when they were like Donkey Kong again, and it's like, don't you have a new console you're launching? They're like, just buy this, okay? And I'm like, all right, I guess. Cool. So locking in for GameCube, Smash Bros.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, this is the only choice I feel good about that we made.
We got a real fighting pick in there.
Yeah.
It had to be something, right? Hey, this is reason I don't have to fight for Ultimate later, which wasn't gonna win.
Yeah, no, it's like Ultimate. It's like,
was this the one on the DS? I forget what that one was called.
Oh, yeah, that's a good question. The 3DS?
Or I think it was 3DS.
Yeah, I remember. Wasn't it I don't know what it was, but I had that one.
Yeah,
it was just Super Smash Bros. For Wii U and 3DS.
Oh,
I guess. Like
it
was
that
called
was
like
fun.
Super Smash Bros. For Nintendo, 3DS, and Wii U. I played that one a lot too. Honestly, again, you know, I don't want people to get the wrong idea. All these Smash Bros. Games are good, but I think Melee remains like the pinnacle to me and to the community at large. So like the hardcores are there. It's not just for the for us casuals.
That's
like
true.
Real Recognize Real and Smash Bros. Melee is looking mighty familiar.
Cool.
Yeah.
It's GameCube.
That's GameCube. That's Cube. You've been cubed. GBA. What was your history with the Did you have
Nintendo? Okay.
Yeah, I figured just lump Nintendo together. Makes sense.
Yeah, no, I had I spent so much time on my GBA. I had the original. I had the clamshell.
Oh, the SP. Yeah. Warming up to the SP. Long time SP hater. It's
crazy that you have to warm up to it. It's so good.
I will say that it
was a technological marvel.
My big thing is the ergonomic. I'm like, I don't want to have to like wrap my little claws around this little thing.
You got little hands. What are you not wrapping anything?
Look, it's tiny. I don't know how you play on that little thing, but I will say I don't know if it's literally wider than the Game Boy Pocket, but it feels a little bit wider than the Game Boy Pocket.
Maybe probably.
Or maybe just something the fact that you hold it and it's like a flat square with like the screen hinges. It does feel a little bit better than the Game Boy. So I'm like, and I do like that I can close. So I do think for the first time in my life I will, not super soon, but eventually I'm going to put on my list for like my birthday, Christmas, whatever. My own little SP, because I do think it's kind of nice. You can close it.
Yeah.
And play my games on the go in a new way, but
it sleeps the game.
But also too, I just hated it as well because I hated in my mind this was a rich kid's console. You could ask your parents
the Pro
for
version.
an interstitial console. Okay, Richie Rich.
No, that's fair.
Yeah. So I hated you guys. I hated the Game Boy Color people. I hated
what happened was that my original Game Boy Advance broke. I had, like one of that clearish
Did it break
blue
or did
purple.
you?
I didn't break it. No, I wasn't.
Did you drop it?
No. I think
from higher than the height of a child's chest.
How it broke? Yeah, maybe I dropped it. Or maybe I tried to put it in my pocket at the time and it broke against, I don't know, some batteries or something else I had in there.
The weight of everything.
Yeah, and then the SP came. Anyways,
so big GBA boy is the point.
Yes, my first GBA game, which I think I have to imagine is going to be on your list, Metroid Fusion.
Yep.
Just such an absolute banger.
Let's just
game.
lock this in right now. Let's talk
about let's not get ahead of ourselves. It is really good though. It is stupid good.
Yeah.
Talk about that. We didn't get Symphony of the Night in, but man, there's still Fusion. You know what I mean?
Metroid Fusion. I guess what's your big takeaway from this? Because you played this pretty recently, so you actually remember it more than I do.
Era. Yeah. It's just good. It's like so I think I played it before Dread came out. But playing Dread, I was like, oh man, they really just took the same formula and put it in 3D with better graphics and release it. All right, cool, we're here. It's side scrolling platformer. You're finding keys, you're upgrading your weapon, you're unlocking new missiles and doing things to let you reach new heights and everything like that, and it's just a fun time. I
think the thing with Metroid Fusion that I remember most like fondly about is the fact that, and Metroid is kind of known for this, it's why the genre is named after Metroid. I think Metroid does a great job at having the whole sprawling map exploration with semi-minimal getting lost. There usually is at least 1 to 2 times you will get lost in a Metroid game, just by way of it being a Metroid game. But I think there's a lot of restraint there where it does a really good job guiding the player in its level design. Fusion's no exception to that. And the number one thing, though, that I love about Fusion is the story and the lore, which is rare to say because Metroid lore is kind of, you know, very back of the cereal box style lore.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, spaceships, aliens. And I go play a good game. And I'm like, yeah, that's cool. But just the fact that the Metroid fusing to her suit, like, I think that is like the coolest shit ever.
Yeah.
It is still like so, and then the suit design is so cool. Like, my dream cosplay is that suit. I think that suit is like the greatest looking thing in a video
yellow,
game
like
ever.
red,
the blue and the yellow. It was so badass. And I'm just a big fan of that trope in like nerd media and media in general. The like kind of being able to wield like a poison in a way, because that's kind of what like a Metroid is. Essentially, you know, it's like a foreign entity that's, you know, messing with her suit and her body and stuff like that. I think that is so cool, you know, spoilers for later conversations on the Jack and Dexter franchise. But like, that's one of the cool things about like Jak 2 is that he can wield Dark Eco. And I think that's such a fun subversion to like in the first game, Dark Eco hurts you. And now this one, you can use it for this Dark Eco power. And it's like, oh, this is like, I love things that can recontextualize established lore, and Metroid Fusion is such a slam dunk recontextualization. Also, those little floaty Metroids, you kind of want to eat those, don't you? Like I do.
I do not.
Don't they look like they look kind of like gummy snacks?
I do not.
And
I
they're
don't
like,
agree with that.
And they like kind of float around, and it was just so fun.
Not an official endorsement of the Games Not Games.
Yeah,
podcast.
They look scrum-diddly-umptious is what I'd say about those. So yeah, it was just a cool, badass, good-ass game. It is really like one of my favorite games of all time, Metroid Fusion. Yeah. I do want to go back and replay it at some point. And you claim that it'll still be fun. So
I think so.
I'm scared for how hard it'll be. Maybe I'll play it through nefarious means so that I can rewind my little gremlin way around. Because those games were really freaking hard. But yeah, I love this game. So same.
I guess since we shared that one, my next one, and this is probably a tough sell, but not. I feel like if you know, you know. Dragon Ball Z Legacy of Goku.
Okay.
It is a adventure game. So like think, you know, open world adventure game, but you're Goku going through the like Frieza saga of.
That sounds awesome. You said Dragon Ball Z Legacy of Goku?
Yes, there was Legacy of Goku 1, Legacy of Goku 2, and then Dragon Ball Z Boost Fury. Which is like kind of the third one. The first one was the one that I spent all my time with. It stopped at the Frieza saga, but it was like so good. You finally go Super Saiyan at the end and all this stuff. Really good time, adventure, sort of like RPG kind of adventure thing. And honestly, it might be second to my third pick. It is probably the like game series I spent the most time with.
Nice.
On GBA.
Yeah, I've never played this. We got to pick this up. And
man, that'd be
have
so
it in the collection.
good.
Because one thing I love about retro gaming is a big thing I look for, especially as someone that like, I think you were like me. You had like a dozen games, maybe 2 dozen, like you know, like nothing wild or anything. Is there so much like unplayed stuff for these eras that I'm like, oh, you can find like now it's new again.
It's like $6. Yeah,
yeah. Some of the obviously some games can be expensive, but like a lot of the games that I go for like not very expensive, and I don't know what DBZ Legacy Goku is going for, but I feel like it's got to be
under 15.
Ain't nothing like them Pokemon games.
No man,
$400
for
a big face for a Pokemon game. This is wild. Okay, another shout out, Super Mario Bros. 3. I'm guessing you're gonna have this on here too.
No, to me those
same as Super Mario World.
Yeah, we got that
but
already.
Bros.
With
3
Super Mario
is better.
World.
Than World, and I know that, and I really know it now.
Is Bros 3 better than World?
I think
we went up against World, and we decided on.
No, we just talked about it against, but we didn't. You know, it came out on a different. You know what I mean? Like,
I guess.
Yeah, I do think Super Mario.
With the NES,
and we did talk about that Super Mario Bros. 3 is better than World. Yeah, I think we did establish that.
I say World is better.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wait, hold on.
Where you
I
get
think I flipped them. Is World the one we just bought?
Yes.
Okay, you're right. Never
Yeah.
mind. I still want to shout out to Mario Bros. 3 because it's
No, okay.
But no,
okay.
you're right.
Shout
Sorry.
out for sure.
World is better, and I know that because I started playing Mario Bros. 3, and I said, "Why am I not playing Mario World?"
Yep.
So, yeah. Actually, fucking throw Mario Bros. 3 in the trash. My bad. Never mind. Actually, I still want to name it anyway because I do love that game. So, we talked about it a little bit already before, but the stage stuff, and I think too, playing it now because I just started replaying this game recently. It does have like that classic, what I thought it had. Very simple design and completion with a bunch of secrets. I was watching a no commentary like Let's Play of someone playing this game, and I realized I'm fucking horrible at games. They're doing stuff. They're running through the back end of the code of the game. Like I don't even know what's going on there. And I'm like, the fact that you can do this kind of stuff is just super cool.
Yeah.
And I will say shout out to little stuff they did too with the map. Again, I think the Mario team in all its different versions is always like looking at how to kind of do more with what they're presenting and really making things meaningful. I think it's a big part of Nintendo's design, and it's felt in a lot of their games. But even still, like that little freaking guy walking around the map, and it's like the gamification of the map itself. It's like nothing is wasted. So shout out to Mario Bros. 3. What else do you have?
So good.
Yeah. Now that I have World, I put that Mario Bros. 3 in the garbage where it belongs, and I'm ready to get into World.
I'm gonna go only because it's so different from everything else that I played, and I haven't really played anything like it since. Although I know there are games that kind of like fall in the same genre now. The Mega Man Battle Network games.
Yeah, you do love these games. I got that for you, right?
Yeah, you got me Battle Network 1. Thank you. I played it.
And you're like, I'm hungry. I'm like, oh my god, I'm sorry.
You got me that. They dropped the network collections on Steam, and so I got those as well. And it's essentially the literally exact same thing, except they take what normally is exclusive to like nefarious means and just put it in the real game. And so I'm like, okay, great, even better. I can like save wherever I want and hot save and do all that kind of stuff. But I mean, those games, I spent so much time playing these. Me and my cousins would all play, and it had the Pokemon thing where they'd be like, Network 2 had like a blue and a red version or something like that. And they were like, oh, like I'll get the red, you get the blue, and then we'll like battle each other and trade
like,
cards.
What kind of game is it?
It is a it is a tactical game. It's sort of like the gameplay is you have it's like a deck builder tactical game.
Okay.
Where instead of decks of cards, you have chips that you can like send to Mega Man and have him like do abilities and stuff. But you play on a 3x9 or 3x6 grid or something like that. And you can like, move up and down, left and right to like avoid your enemies like attacks, as well as like get in position for your own attacks kind of thing. It's really
you were out here in it's not like the deepest cut of all time or anything, but you're in the 1 to 2 tier down deep cuts, you're past the obvious answers, which I'm a little bit more in that obvious answer phase, because some of them answers, I will say, they be good. So I don't know.
Out of all these like kind of retro games, this is the one I played the most recently, and it still did hold up. So, I will say my last one is one I also played really recently on the Switch Online, The Legend of Zelda: The Minish Cap. Yeah.
Holy
Minish Cap is stupid good.
Cow.
Yeah.
If anyone can kill Metroid Fusion, it is The Legend of Zelda: The Minish Cap.
It is pretty good.
Game is incredible. Like I don't even think I had any notes on this game.
I got lost a little bit, but
I got a little lost too. But I know it
didn't take away.
Like
from
I
the
just know.
Yeah.
And honestly, like it was the same problem I have in every Zelda game, like especially the old ones. This is the only thing that what's that new one that just came out?
Like Wisdom.
Yeah, Echoes of Wisdom. The only thing that they should take from Echoes of Wisdom and be like, we should carry this forward, is that like when you open the map, you can see where the ladders go.
Yeah.
If they had that in all these games, we fly through these left and right. But yeah, this is, I feel like this is a little dramatic of a statement, but it feels like the pinnacle of smart design meets like creative, cute, interesting little ideas. The fact that you can, shrink down to the Minish size, and you can explore like different areas of the world as like being basically like mini.
Yeah.
That's super cool. I'm also just like a sucker for that in games. I love being small in like a regular size, like Tinykin, Pikmin, all that. Like I love that. So I was like, oh, it can be small. In this game, y'all, you have a hat. Your hat talks to you.
Yeah.
You have a magic fucking hat. What are we doing? What are we even talking about here? But yeah, and the abilities are super cool. I mean, a lot of them are like very familiar for like old school Zelda, like the boots that you can run and stuff like that, and you can jump now and whatever. Also, just a beautiful looking game.
It really does look good.
This is like, if you liked Wind Waker, you need to be playing Minish Cap because it has like a lot of the same kind of like kind of cool art style. Great design. It's like, this is like and I know we're not mentioning the what Four Swords is on here. GBA. I just never played Four Swords, so sorry if you're like, oh my god, no Four Swords. Like, I'm sorry. Like I'm in the we just rewatched Interstellar. I'm like, no, play Four Swords. People will say you're dumb in 2025 because you didn't name Four Swords. Minish Cap. Can't say enough good things about it. Play it on Switch Online if you haven't played it yet. Because then you can cheese that little rewind, which I was cheesing the hell out of that.
Pretty
Still took me forever to play because I was streaming it. I was getting lost. I was talking to chat for 30 minutes, just walking around a dungeon in circles. Still didn't care. Never bothered by it.
Yep.
Really, so good.
Yeah.
Are those all? Yeah. It's all 3 for 3. 3 and 3.
I think my vote's still Metroid Fusion. It is still.
I do love Metroid Fusion.
I think about Metroid Fusion often enough that it is probably at the top of this list.
All right. You know what? I'm cool with that because Metroid Fusion is one of my favorite games of all time.
Yeah.
But
I will say Minish Cap is a great second
makes
pull.
A big run for my money because I like literally when I was playing it, I'm like, if this game came out this year, I think I played like 2 years ago. I'm like, this would be like near the top of the list.
Yeah.
Like,
talk about games that hold up.
In defense of Fusion, I think if Fusion came out, that probably would just be at the top of that might just be at the top of the list. Like, but granted, every year it's kind of a good year for gaming because I was looking at I'm like, oh yeah, what was the top of my list then? It was like Tears of the Kingdom or something. I'm like, okay, well, Tears of the Kingdom is clearly better than Minish Cap.
Sure.
But anyway, Metro Fusion. Yeah, I think I'm good with that. That probably is the right choice. But shout out to Minish Cap. So good. All right. PS2. We're back at home, Isaiah. Yeah. This is supposed to be your bag, right? So what's when you think PS2?
Now I gotta.
You go to your mind. You go to your heart.
Okay.
What comes out of there?
I'm going to my mind palace.
What comes out of that heart, mind, basement attic combo?
So I was gonna suggest Snake Eater here because I think Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater is probably one of the best games. But because we already have some of that representation on the PS1 now with Metal Gear Solid, I'm actually gonna go to my second slot and say Grand Theft Auto.
Which one?
I spent the most time with 3, but
tell me the name of that. Is that
it was just 3. Just Grand Theft Auto 3.
Oh, just 3.
Yeah. And then Vice City and then San Andreas were after that.
Yeah.
Arguably better games, but to me, 3 was the one that like really kicked it off. It gave us what we know as like a modern day Grand Theft Auto. And I think that it is criminal to not have any of that representation on this list just because it's so big and it is.
Why not just go like a San Andreas or Vice
I mean,
City?
that's fine. I don't have I played all 3 and I like all 3. It's just 3 was the one I played first and was the one I have the like fondest memory with.
I believe I was more of a San Andreas Vice City person. Don't have a big preference / memory.
I consider it like a Pokemon where it's like, oh yeah, there's like 8 different versions. Any of them are fine with me, you know?
Yeah, I'd probably go, maybe I'd go Vice City, even though San Andreas maybe it was better. I don't know. It's been so long too. I know I started playing the whack ports they did. Which, like, fun fact, everyone was so mad at those. I'm like, guys, I'm fucking having a great time.
Yeah.
I do not give a fuck.
That's how I play San Andreas.
I'm like, I do not give a fuck that I mean, I get it. Like, I think people should still like be critical and ask for that stuff, and like that's part of analyzing a game. I totally respect that. But I'm like, I gotta be honest with y'all. I do not give a fuck that the window reflection is technically worse than it was on the whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
I am driving my ambulance.
Yeah.
Get off the road, fucker. Like, yeah. Okay, so cool. The basically co-sign GTA, and honestly, I guess the GTA will probably end up winning because it's GTA. But what do you have outside of GTA on here?
This is where I put the NBA Streets. I went with 2 just because again I think that's the best one.
2 is really good.
I can hear an argument for the others. I don't know if you also had that on your. Well, you kind of mentioned
had
it before
like on
the
Gamecube, so like tip of the hat to NBA Street.
Then my last one, and this is I kind of lumped this together as like a Square RPG, so either Kingdom Hearts 2 or Final Fantasy 10. They are
10
different.
is where they fuck underwater, right?
Yeah. 10 is the one where they fuck underwater. although they're
I need to stop messing around and just play 10 already.
You should. It's really good.
I'm like, what would a good Final Fantasy game be like? You know, I've always wondered.
Yeah.
What if they made this good?
Obviously, I like Kingdom Hearts more, but I understand that, like, I don't know if in this time capsule kind of like mentality that we have, I don't know if the Disney helps or hurts, or if you just want raw, pure, like
this good ass
Final
game.
Fantasy RPG, JRPG, then Final Fantasy 10.
Great list. Good gen.
Good gen. It was hard eliminating, cutting this down to just these options.
My other ones were MGS2 for me. Just shout out, even though I think we kind of decided probably not so much, but MGS2 is like the pinnacle for me of Metal Gear games, even though maybe 3 is better. I don't know. I have to think about it more. There's definitely an argument to be made.
Have you played 3? Okay.
Yeah, I played 3. I played 2 and 3. I didn't really play much of 1. Maybe I dabbled a little in 1, but I didn't really. Oh, man. In my mind, like 2 is when Metal Gear really became like Metal Gear. And
after we finish, we can boot up
and
1 right
is
now.
Like a little dusted. I don't know. It seems a little old to me.
It hurts so much.
This was the era where I just jumped straight to 2. Like for Matrix, I jumped straight to 2. For this, I jumped straight to 2. I said, fuck these ones.
Also, I mean, I think the PS2, like looking at my list, every single one is a sequel. And I feel like the PS2 was just like the age of sequels.
MGS2, that is the game where like when I need to feel something, I will boot up that cutscene and I will rewatch it. I watched that cutscene more than I think any other cutscene.
Like the beginning where he like jumps off
he's on the bridge and he's smoking the cigarette and it's a Hideo Kojima game or whatever. And I was like, oh my God, I love you, Hideo Kojima. And
one has that too, though. He's like swimming underwater, going into the plant and the factory and everything.
I guess. So yeah, sure. I don't know. That's what the old heads tell me, I guess. But it's only like one gen away. But yeah, MGS2 was like my game.
Sure.
I like loved the gameplay of it. I loved the little freaking. It's not like what is it? It's not a stun gun, but you know the little tranquilizer gun. Hated Raiden. Still loved MGS2. I'm like, fair. I don't care. I hate being this guy.
That's fair.
He sucks. Never liked him. Yeah. Never matured to like him. I always thought he was like a little whiny little boy. Yeah. What do you think? He's like calling his girlfriend. What do you think about when you're defusing the bombs? I don't think about anything. Do you think about me? I was like, what the fuck are you guys talking about?
Bro,
what the fuck are you guys talking about? And I still love that game. So anyway, yeah, great game. It was also the iconic game where for me, I was like, wow, games can be like really like well made. No, it's just like really well made because there was a thing where we shot a guy and he fell backwards off the boat and he screamed on the way down and that never happened before in a game and I was like, oh my God, this is crazy. Like, whoa, oh my God, this is so real. Anyway,
I can't wait for you to play Death Stranding.
When I played MGS2, I was like, oh my God, this looks like a movie, and it did not. I don't know why I thought it looked like a movie. In my mind, visually, I was like, this is like a film.
Yeah.
It looks actually very much a video game. Don't know why I thought that. I saw movies at the time. Mm-hmm. Whatever. Shout out to MGS2. Next up, surprising no one, Jak and Daxter.
Yeah, I figured it was gonna be on your list.
Yeah, this is when they said who's here besides Mario. So I got something to say.
I thought about shouting
the South has something to say.
Crash and Spyro for the PS1.
Yeah, we probably should have shouted them out.
Couldn't make the cut.
Crash is really incredible.
Crash is great.
Even though it's like way too hard.
Yeah.
I also think Crash 4 is kind of the pinnacle of that franchise, which I wish I could tell you to play it. It's incredible. You would get too mad because it is very hard. But you've played hard platformers. If you ever want to like see if you have the sauce. If you ever really want to see, if you know how we had that like argument about, you know, our platforming skills and like who's better, or how competitive is it? You step to that game and then we could talk. Okay. Because I feel like you were talking a big game as someone who can't play Crash 4. So I don't know. I know Crash 4
I never tried it, so we'll see.
It is really good, and I think it stands out a lot of. Crash 2, like the perspective is just the old Crash games perspective is a little weird. Sure. The Insane Trilogy, the hitboxes are way off. It's literally worse than the original. I don't know what they did with that. Anyway, getting onto tangents, but my other one, Ratchet and Clank Up Your Arsenal. I think it's the best Ratchet and Clank game.
Yeah, the Ratchet and Clank games
Before
are really good.
I was the Ratchet and Clank hater that the internet knows, I was a stan. As most haters, I began as a stan. And again, haters dramatic. I still think it's a great franchise, but I think it's failed to innovate by quite a lot. I think they're getting quite dull and repetitive. But back in the day, this was still when it was feeling fresh and different and kind of newer. This was the third of the games. All those old games are really good. I mean, the new game is good too, but Up Your Arsenal I think is the best of like that kind of suite of them. So yeah, shout out to that. And then I guess that's technically all I have. But I did jot down last second Midnight Club. Wait, is that PS2 or is that PS3? That's PS3, right?
Dub edition?
No, the LA one.
Oh,
That's 3, right? What am I playing on 3?
I think it was
Okay,
3,
well,
yeah,
spoilers for PS3 talk. I will be throwing on the pile if I can. Okay, where are you leaning on this one?
I'm gonna make an argument that we do the Xbox first before we even decide.
I feel like, why is this getting special treatment?
Because reasons.
I think it should just be GTA, probably, right? I think you make a pretty good argument that we need to. If we're representing all of console gaming, GTA is like kind of like a little bit the pinnacle of console gaming. I know a lot of people don't like to admit it because they're like, I don't know, it's GTA. Like, it's so obvious. It's the COD of open world.
But I think GTA is also on Xbox. So
yeah, but Halo's on Xbox.
Yeah, does Halo deserve a spot over? Because I'm gonna be honest with you, Halo, the Xbox in general was my Halo
machine.
Halo machine, is like the thing I played on there. I didn't play everything else. I didn't
have an Xbox, so I was like, I'm just kind of.
But as far as this time capsule goes, it is my what overflow items that I have from the PS2 that I could throw onto the Xbox category.
I guess because then we didn't say it had to be representative of the console. I suppose
it just represents console gaming, which is one
playing,
from each.
I mean,
entry.
I'm sure anyone who had an Xbox, right? I'm like, were people playing GTA on this Xbox?
It was on there. It was on there though.
Yeah, but how would you know?
Because I saw it.
Maybe.
If you don't want to do that, I mean, I guess that's
why you're trying to get your
but
Kingdom Hearts or your Final Fantasy X on there. Is that why? I do think the PS2 was known for its RPGs as well. Even though I wasn't a big RPG boy, but
that's true.
It is kind of. I mean, the PS2 did everything.
Yeah,
it did it all.
It is. It really is like the greatest console. Arguably,
you know what?
Top dog.
You are I don't know, a little cheap, a little petty. I will allow it, the Xbox thing, just because. I
don't think it's necessarily going to move the needle.
I have almost nothing for Xbox anyway. If I'm being honest, I didn't have an Xbox. I wrote Halo because I played the Master Chief Collection on Xbox One back when that came out. And I had a fine time.
Yeah,
I gotta be honest, I was not obsessed over it, but I was like, oh, this is cool.
Halo,
I had a good time.
It's not the best Halo, and so
I'm cool with you. Whatever Halo you want to represent, like, shout out to Halo. I did have fun. It just wasn't, it's not really my style of game either. So I can only really, I feel like there's a little bit of a ceiling to how much I can enjoy those kinds of games. Like I really liked Gears. One is what, like, Ultimate Edition. I played that again on one. So it's like, shout out to Gears. So it's like, okay.
All right, then how about this Xbox? You had Halo.
I just put I literally just put down Halo.
That's fair. This is where I threw in Midnight Club 3 Dub Edition. Even though I didn't play it on the Xbox, it is on the Xbox, and it'd be great to have some racing game in this time capsule. We both like racing games. I love racing games. I don't know where else they're gonna fit.
I want that LA one though.
Dub Edition was probably better, to be honest.
Really?
I don't think the LA one was the best by any means. I can think of like three other like street racing games that I think are better than the LA one. But the other Los Angeles is good.
It's my can you have recency bias for a game that's like 20 years old?
Unfortunately, yes.
I've been playing it and I'm like, this is really good.
Yeah, no, I don't think it's better than Dub Edition. I don't think it's better than like Burnout Paradise.
No, but when I wanted to play, give you my PSP to play Dub Edition, you said I don't want that dusty PSP.
Yeah, on the PSP, no, absolutely not.
But when you play on the PSP, you get to hear. You spinning its little heart out. Yeah, that's gaming, baby. True. Let's go. Okay.
So that's where I had Dub Edition.
Okay.
And that's also where I threw the Guitar Hero 2. I think the like whole
I want a Guitar Hero
rhythm instrument, living room games was such a core. Like when that happened, it took over, and I think that is also a thing that should have some representation. So to me, the Xbox is going to be the representation slot of something that was just not going to make it anywhere else.
But so you're saying what Halo is never going to come up on this whole list? We have a console.
It could come
capsule?
Up for 360, and
do you think it will? I also didn't have a 360.
I honestly, I think Halo 3 on the 360 would probably be my choice. Getting ahead of ourselves a little bit.
Sure.
I think other contenders.
Okay, so we will be seeing Halo in here.
Halo will definitely come up in conversation again. Yeah.
Okay, then I'm okay making Xbox just this like weird slot. Well, because I didn't, again, my go-to joke. I did not play these old Xbox consoles because I did not have a third sibling. I had one sibling. So he got the Nintendo, I got the PlayStation, we exchanged. Third sibling, that'd be Xbox. We go to that room, I'd be a different person. we don't have that kid here, so this is all I had.
Yeah.
And then as an adult, now okay, I can get my Xbox One. I have my Series X. Cool.
If you want though, I'm down to keep it authentic if you'd like, and just say, hey, no representation. It has to be Halo because that's the game. That is the like Xbox game that we have.
Well, because we're going,
with,
I feel like we're going for a whole suite. Because the point, going back to like the sentence that we wrote, is we're trying to make a time capsule that can represent console gaming. I will say it's a little weird to have like Guitar Hero represented for that. Like when I think Xbox, I think Halo, but you know, you think a lot of things, right?
Yeah,
like every game kind of is represented by a lot of stuff. And yeah, where else are we gonna put Guitar Hero? Guitar Hero gotta take up some slot. It might as well be this old ass Xbox. Like
yeah, and I do want to shout out some of the other like hit Xbox game. You know, I know people love Psychonauts.
You're trying to beat the Xbox allegations.
Yeah, I gotta beat the
Xbox
Xbox allegations. I haven't played it, but I know people love the Psychonauts game. I know people love Beyond Good and Evil. I know people like fucking Perfect Dark and all these other things that are on Xbox.
I'm a bit of a psychonaut myself.
They were not. I did not play them, but I want to acknowledge that they exist. You know, I want people in the comments emailing us talking about some Isaiah's a dumb fuck who didn't play this, that, and the third. I acknowledge it. I just didn't play it. So, yeah.
Guitar Hero then maybe.
Of the two, I would say Guitar Hero is probably bigger for sure.
I'm cool with Guitar Hero.
Cool.
I was never good. Just quick negative shout out. Was never a Guitar Hero person. Never really got into playing it. Yeah, we talked about this a little bit, just like offline in our lives. Yeah. But yeah, I didn't play Guitar Hero. I didn't play Rock Band.
Oh man.
And honestly, like I know some people are gonna disagree with this. I hate to say it. You kind of had to have been there to really feel that magic when you go back. Because like every now and then in the modern era, you know, like I know you bought like the controllers you know, ways to do it on PC and stuff. And it is still like a bit of fun. Like I think it's a fun game. It's cool. Obviously it was iconic for the time. But it don't hit the way like I can tell when like I'm playing and when someone who like is playing again and like that twinkle in their eye, like I don't get that twinkle. I'm kind of just like I'm a fraud.
I wonder
I'm
if
a fraud on the drums.
More to do with the time you play with it, and like if I gave you
like you get good enough at it that you're like in a groove kind of vibe.
Not even that. It's just more like if I gave you like in the modern era like the Foo Fighters collection on it, or like GNX, or like new modern music that you love more. I wonder if like that would be enough to like sink its teeth.
I think it's something about like you like again having like been there because I feel like really attached to like Beat Saber. Sure, yeah. I mean I'm not like ridiculously attached to Beat Saber, but Beat Saber is like my Guitar Hero kind of vibe where it's like, oh yeah, like this is a good time. And I feel like in the future people will be like, I mean, this is kind of fun, but like, I don't know, I'm just hitting squares. I'm like, you had to have been there, like, you know? So yeah, but I mean, obviously Guitar Hero was like a huge, so many of people were drenched in sweat during the Guitar Hero Rock Band era.
It was really fucking good.
Meanwhile, I'm still just dancing. I'm still at the restaurant.
Also, you know, could have thrown that on there. I don't know.
Just made for that. Throw it for the Wii or something. Like, I can't wait to get into how much I hate the Wii. I have the policy. I just need the platform. You know what I mean? No, it's really just I don't like the hardware. I have heard and I am aware that there are a lot of really incredible titles on the Wii. And then there's also bowling, which is, come on, guys. Here's the thing. Man. Just to dip into it a little bit. I have the same beef with like Nintendogs, dude. Like, do we really give a fuck about these dogs now? Like, you know what I mean?
I always wanted Nintendo. I never had it.
Like, I think you'd be like, who gives a fuck?
I think the Nintendo being the like chores handheld was always weird for me.
Let's buy Nintendogs and re-review it in 2025. Because people say like, they need to bring Nintendogs back. Whoa.
All these games of like, I gotta check in every day. Why am I checking in?
Because you lost me. Play game. Don't speak on Brain Age like that. I got Brain Age right. I got my OG Brain Age.
I don't know if it's good or not. I never played it.
Really?
The
Brain Age
idea
is awesome.
didn't sit well with me.
Brain Age is so good. Isaiah, when you get those fucking stamps, like, you know, oh my God. Brain Age is like so much better than Nintendogs. Like, fuck them dogs, you know? Like, okay, who gives a fuck? Who gives a fuck about these dogs? People say, oh, bring back Nintendogs. I'm like, you don't want Nintendo. Again, I think Nintendogs was like of the era. At the time, I think it was a fun thing that people got into. I didn't get into it, so maybe that's my bias. I never fuck with those dogs. You bring that shit for the Switch too? People are gonna be like, it kind of reminds me of like sometimes you just miss a wave. Like it's like when they tried to do for Switch, they tried to do like Switch Sports Resort or whatever. They're like, oh, everyone loves it on the Wii. And guess what? No one loved it. It's like, the moment passed.
No, that's fair.
You don't want Nintendogs. You want to be 10 years old again or 15 again or however old you were. Like,
yeah,
but when you get Nintendogs, you ain't going to get that. You got a job.
That's fair.
How you work at 9 to 5, you got to fucking take care of your Nintendogs. Come on. You don't want that. And Nintendo knows you don't want it. Come on. Anyway, it's going to be fun.
Cool.
I'm excited to get into these other games.
Tangent aside, Guitar Hero 2 on Xbox.
Oh, Guitar Hero 2, let me jot that down, yeah.
Which, I'm like, 99% sure Guitar Hero 2 was on Xbox as well.
Just do a quick little
Google.
Quick little fact check of the Xbox. See, I'm not spelling anything right. Yeah. Oh, I see it on 360. I'm not seeing it on one. Do you want to just put Guitar Hero though on Xbox?
I mean, was Guitar Hero 1 on?
Actually, shit, is it? Maybe it's not. That's so funny. We spent so much time talking about it. I don't think so.
Dang.
So was it only on PS2?
It was on PS2.
I guess it was only there. I assumed it was good.
I saw it. To be honest, again, I had to look up the list to see like, what options. It had to have been. No. It's Guitar Hero 3 was on like.
No, dude, it's only on
everything.
Xbox 360.
Guitar Hero 2 was only on Xbox 360.
Guitar Hero 1, Guitar Hero. I'm looking at Guitar Hero. Guitar Hero is a series of rhythm games, 2005.
Are you serious?
Platforms according to Wikipedia. PlayStation 2, Xbox 360, PlayStation 3. Yeah, you can dig around for a bit to make sure, but yeah, that's so funny. Good thing we checked. It's hilarious.
Wow.
Oh, you can put your Midnight Club in there if you want. No, is that on there?
Yeah, I guess I gotta like double check now. Because again, I only played Halo on it. And the whole idea was that this is going to be my...
You don't have to put Halo back on here.
I'm gonna have to
it's on there. That edition's on
here.
Xbox. OG Xbox. So you want to put that on there?
Yeah, you're right. Jeez.
I guess Guitar Hero ain't never making this list then, I guess. I don't know. Which honestly, like, I don't know.
Don't be mean. Don't be mean. Don't be mean.
Why don't you say what I'm thinking then? People will think it's nicer because it's coming out of your mouth.
Nah, go ahead. I want
you to say it. I want you to say it.
I feel like you're going to be like, to be honest, it really didn't even really deserve to be on the list.
It's not even deserve, but do we need it on here? It's not the worst.
Yeah, I would think so.
I would like it on here, but if we're only picking one per console, are we going to sacrifice
what
another
about
game?
Just Dance then? Is Just Dance on it? I feel like we need like a rhythm game or something. You know what I mean?
Why? Because society told you?
To represent. This is representation. We're building a time capsule. Representation. People are in their living rooms dancing and jamming out. It needs to be preserved.
If we Thanos snapped that out, we wouldn't miss anything out of console
Kelsey would
landscape.
never allow for this.
Because she's a case about history. She'd be like, I don't care about Just Dance. No, I don't know what Kelsey thinks of Just Dance. I like Just Dance. I've danced a lot. I play the game a lot, but
also Just Dance even on Xbox. Damn,
so,
fuck, I guess just Halo. Shit.
You want to put Halo on there?
Yeah.
So no dub edition?
Damn.
You just put an OG Halo? Yeah, let's put Halo on there. Effort. Yeah, boom. Halo made it its way back.
That's crazy.
Can you say something nice about Halo though? Because I feel like all we did was just, this is like not our best look for Xbox. I got an Xbox later, so it's just like
I didn't have an Xbox One at launch. I actually had the Xbox One after
the OG Xbox.
Sorry,
to clarify, yes.
I think I had the OG Xbox. I think I got an OG Xbox after I already had like a 360. Like it was kind of like a garage sale kind of thing, and I was like, oh, you know what? Sure, let me pick it up. I like the 360. Play some games. Blah blah. Damn, man, yeah. No, Halo's fun. I actually really like the story.
Is crazy. He's like, you know what? Let me tell you about my good friend Halo.
I really like the story. It was like one of those. By the time I got to like Halo 3 and was like, finish the fight and all this kind of stuff, I was like, you know what? Hell yeah, Master Chief, we're gonna fucking take the fight to them. We're gonna do it and everything like that. So I was all with it. It was just one of those things where it's like I just got to it so late that like all the
I'm a bit
hype
of a Master Chief
and, like,
myself.
No one was talking about Halo 1 by the time I got to it.
All right.
And so I was like, all right. Damn. All right. Well.
Yeah,
here we go,
ports.
folks.
It's hard to get ports. Okay. Yeah. Just a quick double check. GTA for PS2. What do we want to go with? Vice City? ?
I'm fine with Vice City.
Do you prefer San Andreas over Vice City? Because I'm leaning you towards the one
of the those two.
I think people say San Andreas was better, right?
I think people say that San Andreas got better. San Andreas had the cool thing where it's like, if you eat a bunch of cheeseburgers, you can get fat, and if you like work out a lot, you can get really fit and everything. Yeah. And that was pretty cool. But San Andreas also had the like at the time really shitty like plane missions. Where it's like you either have to fly this remote control plane or even get in a real plane and fly. I don't remember. It was fucking stupid. I didn't like it. I played it in the remake, but it was fine. I think Vice City is a like.
Vice City kind of has like my biggest nostalgia pull, but it doesn't mean that it's like better. You know,
I would say Vice City.
I feel you can't. You pick a old GTA. You can't really go wrong. Like GTA is.
Although more memes came from San Andreas with CJ.
Yeah.
Follow the damn train, CJ.
Again, I got Samuel Jackson on there.
It was really good.
I didn't really like. I remember Vice City a lot more. I don't even know how much I played of San Andreas. I'm sure I played a bit, but it's been so long. Okay, now rereading what we have for this episode. For the N64, we got part 2. We got Super Mario 64.
Yep.
PlayStation, we got Metal Gear Solid.
Yep.
GameCube, we have Super Smash Bros.
Yep.
GBA, we have Metroid Fusion.
Yep.
PS2, we have GTA Vice City.
Yeah.
And Xbox, we have a lot of apologies to the Xbox community. We
could swap them.
We're living and we're learning.
No, we could swap things. San Andreas, I believe, was on Xbox. We could free up the PlayStation slot.
I mean, I think Xbox.
I'm fine. I'm joking.
I think Xbox has been through enough today. Isaiah tried to erase your history, and it turns out you didn't have as many ports as we thought you did.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Halo. Again, when you had an Xbox, you had Halo. You were legally obligated to have played Halo if you had an Xbox.
That is true.
That was the first thing I played. My friend had an Xbox.
It was the Mario of Xbox. Like
my friend had an Xbox. That like my best friend when I was a kid, and I was like, there. It's like, oh, you want to like play some of the Xbox? And I said, sure. Played a couple seconds, and I was like, you want to do something else? I was a kid, so we like went and played outside or something. I like was like flying around, and I'm like, this is kind of like hard to do. I don't know. It's kind of not really. I was used to running and jumping everywhere, so I'm like, what's going on? I gotta fly this thing. I was like, I don't know. This feels like I'm out of my element here.
Yeah.
I'm used to cartoon. You're kind of going sci-fi.
Yeah.
I'm more of a Mario man myself.
I will say though, I think this really means that, and just getting ahead of myself, whatever you want to call it, I'm probably going to be gunning for some non-shooter stuff in later Xbox
I would love to
consoles.
get a driving thing in there, and I care more about driving than I do about.
You know what?
Fake instruments and dancing,
is a better racing game anyway, so we got room for that.
Yeah, more arguments more consoles to be dragged. Hopefully the 360 gets some. You had a 360, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
thank God. Again, a little bit after the fact as well.
Yeah, we need to beat these anti-Xbox allegations because it's not.
I've had every Xbox console. It's just
and hated all of them.
Some got played more than others. I can't say the same about Nintendo.
Yeah,
I didn't have a Wii U.
Yeah,
a lot of people did.
Yeah, a lot of people did. You know, it's okay. I got the Wii U when no one got.
Yeah.
I pick it up in my arms. I said, "It's okay, baby girl. I got you." All right, so that's our gaming time capsule. I'm guessing that we'll keep going with this. We have 3 more legs to get through, which we probably will have to have as their own little pieces. Maybe we'll to switch it up, or that may add depending on time. Maybe next time we do this, we can still get in some like what we've been playing or something.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Hopefully, you guys aren't getting bored of these, but we really like making them, and it's a lot of work to I think lay it all out there.
Yeah, it's a fun chance to go through our history as well, which is always nice
for sure.